Hey, welcome in. Well, Trudeau continues his embarrassment tour for Canada. It's just, every time he's in the news, it's embarrassing. I mean, I can't even understand it at this point. I mean, I guess just having the last name Trudeau and being good looking is enough. That's enough to be prime minister. What can I tell you? I didn't vote for him, so it's not my fault. Anyway, here we go. Justin Trudeau faces backlash after shaking hands with Iranians who literally just shot down that plane with the Canadians on board. It really wasn't very long ago. Anyway, let's get into it. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is facing anger from his own countrymen after he was photographed chatting, shaking hands, and even bowing to Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif after the rogue nation shot down a commercial airplane with 57 Canadians aboard. And obviously, this is a bad idea. At the time of the attack, Trudeau insisted he would demand closure, accountability, transparency, and justice from the Iranians. But there we are last week in Munich, Germany. Trudeau seemed oddly cozy with the Iranian delegation, according to globalnews.ca. Quote, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is facing criticism over new photographs showing him shaking hands with Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif, the outlet reported. And, of course, people are criticizing this because they shot down a plane with 57 Canadians on it. Also, Iran has refused to hand over the black boxes recovered from the crash site. Let's see. Trudeau told the reporters, quote, I went by to impress upon the foreign minister of Iran how important it is that we work together. Well, they're not going to work with you, and we know that. Maybe send somebody else. Somebody with a stern expression. Hey, if you could subscribe, like, and share, that really helps me out. Thanks a lot. Let's see. It turns out the families of the plane crash victims are furious. Of course they are. Of course they're furious. I mean, that's a kick in the gut. Let's see. The Canadian delegation suggesting that Trudeau was forceful in private meetings, demanding that Iran turn over the flight's black boxes to international officials, but they offered no proof of Trudeau's position. It seems more likely to me that Trudeau was just asking for like a Xerxes costume, from like 300. Because he likes dressing up like that, as we found out. But of course, Trudeau did have some harsh words, for Trump. Back in January, the Canadian Prime Minister pinned the incident squarely on the president's shoulders. If there were no tensions, if there was no escalation recently in the region, those Canadians would be right now home with their families. Maybe you should just save your anger for the people who shot down the plane. Maybe that's an idea. But, Trudeau is an embarrassment. And let's just go through a quick list of his scandals here. Okay, and this is a little bit old, so it's missing one important one. Let's see. Well, there was the SNC Lavalin thing. Trudeau was the only prime minister formerly found to have broken ethics rules. Okay. Chalk one up for Trudeau. Oh, this is a good one. The prime minister broke some conflict of interest rules when he accepted a vacation of the Aga Khan on his private island in 2016. At the time, the Aga Khan, let me repeat, the Aga Khan Foundation was formally registered to lobby Trudeau and his officials. Yeah, come on. Here's a favorite. The Trudeau family repeatedly donned elaborate colored costumes during an 8-day trip to India in February of 2018, sparking widespread scorn on social media, especially since many of the Indian officials he met were wearing suits, as he should have been. But he does like dress up. And again, we're gonna look at that. Just give me a second. And he says here, because he's, the top virtue signaler in the country, he talks about helping Canada's marginalized and impoverished Aboriginal population. But he made a sarcastic remark to an Indigenous woman who interrupted a Liberal Party fundraiser to protest about poor living conditions. He told her, thank you for your donation, as she was escorted from the room. So that makes me think that he doesn't actually really care about any of this, but anything that he says. But anyway, let's get to the cherry on top. Who's this guy? Oh, that's the Prime Minister. He does like dress up. But who's this guy? Oh, that's the Prime Minister as well. Now, I just want to say, I don't think that these were done out of, racial hatred. I just think it's like a fetish for him. He's kind of fetishized other cultures and other skin tones, I guess. And he just really likes playing dress up. But, I guess the point is, with everything we've gone through, I don't know, will Canadians be stupid enough to vote for him again? I don't know. I think for a large portion, there's some big portion of the population where they're not voting for him as prime minister. They're voting for him as boyfriend because he's just the perfect feminist. And, it is the current year. So there's that. Anyway, it's actually kind of depressing, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. So that's it for me. Please subscribe. The algorithm doesn't want to show you this kind of independent content. It wants you to see big corporate stuff. So subscribe if you want to see more. If you don't have time to watch my videos, you can listen to them on the podcast, Radio Baloney, The Richie Baloney Show. It's on Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts and iTunes and CastBox and Spotify and Spreaker and Podchaser and all over the place. Thank you very much, Radio Baloney. See you next time.